This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
What's going on, everybody? This is VinylicPuma, and today we are back with another subscriber Q&A. Just one thing before we get into the video. I finally broke 100 Twitter followers, and I can always use more. If you are on Twitter, if you're into that and you want to follow my Twitter, you can. I'll leave a link in the description. But let's go ahead and we'll get into the Q&A. Our first question is going to be from Pro Haxor, and he asks, why don't you play Destiny? I don't play Destiny because it's not on PC, and it's only exclusive to consoles, and that is a problem because I don't own a PS4 or an Xbox One. I guess I could play it on Xbox 360, but honestly, I'd rather play it on next gen or new and current hardware, mostly for the better resolution, as it would look better in videos if I made videos on it. There were supposedly rumors at some point that there was going to be a PC port. However, at this point, it's very unlikely, and seeing as how Bungie has never really made games for PC, I don't see it happening. Our next question comes from Brandon Gifford, and he asks, and this is a Borderlands question, hey, what's your personal opinion on all of the gun manufacturers? Alright, so Bandit, I feel like they need to do something different with Bandit in the next Borderlands game. Honestly, it feels kind of unnecessary to me, which is ironic considering that the Slagga and the Bada Boom are good legendaries. I really like Hyperion, I really like Jacob's, particularly Jacob's sniper rifles. I really like Malwan 2. I wish they would bring back Dahl shotguns, and I wish all Dahl weapons didn't have, like, mandatory burst fire. I also kind of wish they would bring back a lot of the classic Borderlands 1 manufacturers like Atlas and S&S Munitions. As for Torg, I really like Torg. Our next question comes from Andrew Schiller, and he asks, if you were head of Bethesda, what plans would you have for the next Fallout? Plot, characters, place, guns, etc. I think I may have said this in a previous Q&A. I don't remember at this point, but I think it would be really cool if they did a Fallout game in San Francisco. And that might actually fit with some of the current factions that we've got going now with like the Railroad. You could have your own faction of the Brotherhood of Steel. You could maybe have another Institute-like organization that's creating synths. The Railroad wants to liberate them, etc., etc. They could also kind of draw from like the culture of like hippies in a way, maybe like beatniks. Actually, beatniks would probably be more appropriate because Fallout is basically like glorification of like 50s America. They also might be able to do a lot with like the Zetans, because really one of the cool things about Mothership Zeta was that you got to go on that space, that like alien ship. I mean, it would be kind of cool to have like to interact with more Zetans again, or like Zeta Alien, or whatever you call them. I think that could have been pretty cool. Our next question comes from Death Joker 666, and he asks, Activision making fans pay for Infinite Warfare to get Modern Warfare Remake. Do you think that's ridiculous? Alright, before I answer this question, I want to preface this with just something I want to say real quick. I am not somebody that traditionally buys Call of Duty every year. In fact, if I were to buy Infinite Warfare this year, it would be the first time I would buy a Call of Duty game at launch. There are also a lot of people that really like the Modern Warfare era of games, like Boots on the Ground and all of that stuff. Now, with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents here, and I think Infinite Warfare, at least that trailer, hate me if you want, but I thought it looked fucking amazing. It's kind of weird in a way. I feel like there are these multiplayer-based games that come out, like you had Titanfall, and then Call of Duty was influenced by Titanfall for a while. And then, of course, you had Star Wars Battlefront, which came out last year. And then, of course, you're going to have a Call of Duty game where you fly around in spaceships, and I guess you shoot each other. I will admit in that trailer, and I'll just say this because you can go back and look at it if you want, but I swear there's like this sequence where they're like flying in front of the sun, and it looks like one of the Pelican airships from Halo. All that said, though, I think the idea of infinite warfare looks pretty cool. However, I think like a lot of people, I would honestly probably pay for Modern Warfare on its own, particularly that remaster, just to play through that campaign again, because Modern Warfare 1's campaign, in my opinion, was really good. I also kind of liked Modern Warfare 2. I actually haven't played Modern Warfare 3 yet. I'll say this one more thing real quick, and I'll go on to the next question. Honestly, I would have rather them, for the Modern Warfare remastered remake or whatever we're going to call it, I wish they had remade the entire game and it had its own standalone release, because I think what they've kind of done, where they've only remade 10 of the multiplayer maps, I feel like that's kind of silly. If you could have made 10, why didn't you just like wait a little bit and then re-release the entire remaster of the game? But that's just me. Our next question comes from Subterraneo, and he asks, a lot of people don't like the pre-sequel. What makes you still enjoy it if you do? You know, I think the number one thing that killed the pre-sequel was when Gearbox decided to nerf the Rosie and the probe pistol instead of making some of the bosses that everyone wanted to be refarmable. I also have said this before, but I think the pre-sequel was rushed, and that's evident from like a lot of the like vanilla game loot, where it's basically copies of weapons or existing weapons from Borderlands 2. I'll still also say that I like the pre-sequel, but it's not a game that I just sit down and regularly play. I'm actually more apt to play Borderlands 2. What I had wished that Gearbox, 2K Australia, and 2K in general had done was they had made like mod support available for Borderlands the pre-sequel. That way we could like play our Borderlands 2 characters in Borderlands the pre-sequel, and that would have been amazing. Our next question comes from Nyron GT, and he asks, why is Borderlands 1 not included in any countdown? At least in this one it could have been. The original Chopper, for instance. Okay, guys, so I know you want Borderlands 1, and I'll go over a couple of reasons why I haven't done it yet. The first reason is because I'm actually just more comfortable with Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. I am going to do Borderlands 1 videos. I am planning on doing it. And I know I've been saying that for like 6 months, maybe even up to a year now, for those of you that have been around that long. But trust me, I am going to do it. I don't know when, but I know I will do it. It's just a matter of me sitting down, finally getting more comfortable with Borderlands 1. It's not like I haven't beaten the game. It's just I don't feel like I have experienced the game enough to really make a lot of good videos on it. And I want to make sure the videos are good. That's all. Our next question comes from Jacob Witt, and he asks, did or do you play Elder Scrolls, and did you play Fallout or Elder Scrolls first? I actually played Skyrim before I played Fallout 3, New Vegas, and ultimately Fallout 4. And I actually haven't played Oblivion or Morrowind or any of the older Elder Scrolls games. This is actually kind of funny to admit, but I actually kind of hated Skyrim the first time I played it. And I actually also really hated Fallout 3 the first time I played it. I guess what it was is that I didn't really like the fact that there isn't really like a solid laid out objective for you to complete at first. However, once I kind of realized that the point is just to kind of like walk around and experience the game, I ultimately really enjoyed it. And I remember I like played Skyrim for a week, and then I like nonstop. That was the only game I played. But anyway, I hope that answers your question. Our next question comes from IPL Timmy, and he asks, if Bethesda asked you to make a new type of gun for Fallout 4, what would it be? You know, I honestly would like some like modifications for the Fat Man launcher that would allow you to like fire different ammo types. Like you could fire like an incendiary bomb, a cryo bomb, or like a dirty nuclear bomb. That could be kind of interesting. I also really want the laser RCW to return from Fallout New Vegas in Fallout 4 and also use the fusion core ammo type. As for a totally new weapon, I think it could be really cool to have like a shrink ray or something like that. If you've played Duke Nukem 3D, there's like a shrink ray gun in that game, and it could be really interesting to have that in Fallout 4. Maybe you shoot it at a raider and you can walk up to them and you can like squish them with your boot. That would be kind of funny. Our next question comes from General South Park Fan, and he asks, if you could choose, which year would you prefer for the next Borderlands game to come out? 2018 or 2019? You know, to be totally honest, I would like it to come out in 2017. However, I also know that the longer that they have to develop the game, the better the game is going to be. So really, I would say probably 2019 would be best. The thing is that is just so far away in a way, and at the same time, I'd almost rather it be 2018. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I think the distance, or like the amount of time that there was between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 was actually like 2 years, because I think they got done with the last DLC for Borderlands 1 in 2010, and then Borderlands 2 came out in September of 2012. So I think they could do it in 2 years after they get done with Battleborn, but really if they had 3 years, I think the game would be that much better. Our final question comes from Mad Dog Beatty, and he asks, what other games do you plan on talking about? Well, the current plan is to do videos on Doom, but I may or may not be doing that. It depends on when the Fallout DLC comes out. If the Fallout DLC comes out on like May 20th, I think I'd be okay, or something like somewhere around there. But I feel like if Doom were to come out on May 13th like it does, and then the Fallout DLC comes out on like May 17th, that is going to kind of hurt my chances at doing Doom. Obviously, there are people that like to watch a lot of the Fallout videos. Not quite as many as the Borderlands videos, but I do want to keep the Fallout fans on my channel happy, and I am going to be doing Far Harbor when it comes out for sure. Actually, speaking of other games, in a couple of days, I think the Overwatch beta is going to come out, and I am definitely going to play the Overwatch beta, and I'm going to make a video on that, so be looking forward to that. Otherwise, at this point, I'm just waiting for E3 and seeing what is ultimately going to appear, so that'll be interesting, and hopefully we'll have a lot of good games that come out at E3 this year. Anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular Q&A. If you liked this Q&A, please be sure to leave a like. And as always, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.